Hey guys and gals, welcome to my HTC EVO 3D review, and I'll tell you right now, you're not going to need these glasses because this is a special type of 3D phone. We're going to get into that in a minute. The HTC EVO 3D is long awaited. It replaces the EVO 4G. This phone specializes in 3D recording at 720p HD, and it can shoot 3D still images in the MPO file format. This phone is also exceedingly snappy with a 1.2 GHz Snapdragon dual-core processor and 1 GB of RAM. Out of the box we have an 8 GB micro SD card and 4 GB of internal storage. It's a little light. I would have liked a little more storage, probably 16 or somewhere in the 20s. Just like the EVO 4G, the EVO 3D is capable of connecting to Sprint's 4G networks, and it supports up to 8 devices on a 3G or 4G Wi-Fi hotspot. Just like the Sensation 4G, the EVO 3D has a beautiful 960 by 540 SLCD screen, which we found to be bright and well defined. It's one of the higher end screens on the market. This phone employs a tag team of UI awesomeness. It has Android 2.3 Gingerbread and HTC Sense 3.0, which we've seen on the Flyer and the Sensation 4G, so it is a top-notch user interface experience. Call quality on this phone was mediocre, but we were roaming. If you live in a Sprint zone, 4G, 3G zone, you're going to be fine with this phone, but roaming, it just didn't have the quality that we've experienced on other phones. As far as battery life, this thing sucked a lot of battery. We had it fully charged. It went in about 4.5 hours. We of course took a lot of 3D videos and pictures. We played 3D games, and we watched a half-hour of a 3D movie. So the display takes up a lot. I recommend using the power saver as often as you can. 4G, of course, data connectivity will take a lot, so watch the amount of fun you have on this, because the more fun you have, the less time you have to have that fun in. Let's take a gander at the design of this before jumping into the 3D excitement. The one thing you'll notice on this phone is that it has a giant camera shutter button, which I think is great. As a camera guy, it's awesome. Press halfway for autofocus, press all the way to snap. There's also a 2D, 3D switch on this phone. That's very convenient for just throwing back and forth between the two. There's a large volume rocker. We have an MHL port, and what this is a USB and HDMI port. They kind of share the same port, so you're going to need a special HDMI connector in order for this to work. And we have a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera for Skype and quick video chat, which comes preloaded. Also, look at the back of the camera. You'll see Johnny 5 from Short Circuit, and these are dual 5 megapixel cameras and a dual flash, so dual LED flash. So this is how the 3D works. I really like this textured back of the phone. It's a solid phone. Now let's talk 3D on the HTC EVO 3D. Let's start with still images. We can shoot 1920 by 1080 2 megapixel stills in 3D with this phone. That's all it's capable of. This is stereoscopic. What that means is it records a left and a right, and then it blends them together. On this particular phone, you don't need glasses, and the reason is it's kind of like an interlace system, where it takes the two images and it blends them together using the vertical fields every other one, and what that produces is a holographic effect. So if you've ever looked at one of those pictures, it's like a hologram, and you turn your head and the image moves. That's exactly what it's like viewing on this phone. It's hard to convey that with the video here, but I found this. If you hold it at the right distance, it's about 2 feet, you hold it at the right angle, it looks good, and that's regarding the content that I captured on this phone. When it came to 3D movies and games, it came preloaded with the Green Hornet and also Spider-Man 3D. Those were fantastic. For that, I can see the usefulness of the 3D on this phone. They really were great. However, when you capture your own content, it's a different story. Now let's talk about videos. 720p HD videos in 3D, and It really doesn't have the same effect. Really, you know, viewing them on the phone at the right angle, the golden angle, they look good. But when I first viewed them, I went cross-eyed. It was like trying to solve a magic eye puzzle. And the other thing is, you can only view them without glasses on this phone or any other device that supports glasses-free 3D viewing. It took me forever to work with the MPO files. I had to download a particular program and blend them into an anaglyph, and what that is a red and a blue, and it combines them together so you can use glasses to view it. And go to our review on our site. We have tons of 3D samples, still samples there. And that's one way you can export it as an anaglyph. And the other thing is, when you upload your MP4 3D files to YouTube, they are going to be the same thing. It's going to be an anaglyph kind of situation, red, blue, and you're going to need special 3D glasses to view them. So the only good thing about the 3D portion of this phone is the fact that when you watch HD 3D optimized movies, they look great. Also, when you play 3D games like Spider-Man, they're awesome. But when you capture your own content, you can only take advantage of the glasses-free action using this phone or any other phone or device that supports glasses-free 3D viewing. So take that into consideration. So here's my InfoSync diagnosis with the HTC EVO 3D. When it comes to HD optimized movies, when it comes to 3D gaming, yeah, this phone is great. But when it comes to capturing your own action on this phone in 3D, it's more of a gimmick. As a standalone phone, the HTC EVO 3D matched the HTC Sensation 4G. The user interface is fantastic with Android 2.3 Gingerbread and HTC Sense 3.0. It's one of the best in the industry. This phone is also fast as hell. We love how easy it is to use. We love how intuitive it is. We like the design of this phone. The only thing is, we wish we had more memory out of the box, and we're really concerned about that battery life because, I mean, it just went down a chunk within this review, the filming of this review. But at the crux, the fulcrum of this phone's being, the 3D really is not necessary. 3D technology isn't even ready for the digital camera industry. I mean, it's there, but it's really not that great. And cell phone cameras as it is need help in 2D. So it's more of an HTC EVO 4G2 with a 3D camera that's kind of a gimmick. And that's my final take on this phone. Great standalone phone. You don't really need the 3D. Check our samples, our videos, everything in our full comprehensive review at infosyncworld.com. This has been the HTC EVO 3D review. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.